Now, the next thing are the spirals. So you may have noticed the Triskele on as my logo. Now, I chose this because a lot of my training is Western. It's also the fact that it has the 3 spirals. Now, spirals are always moving and evolving. And, you know, we look at the Triskele and it's got a movement to it. It never stops. It keeps moving around, keeps evolving, and it's fluid, but it has 3. And 3 has always been seen as a magic number, but I'm not going to go into 3 at the moment. What I want to look at are the 3 spirals. And so my 3 spirals, the first one is stone. So for me, stone is like the mountains. Stone is solid. Stone is everlasting. It's eternal. For our mind, it's calm and it's centered. This is what we want to be, like the mountains, sitting there and static and just being. For our body, we want it to be strong and enduring, just like the stones, just like the menhirs or the standing stones that we see that have lasted for thousands of years. Could it be millions? I don't know. Mountains have, you know, I know things change, but that's what we want from stone. We want that solidness. We want that groundedness. We want that calm, centered being. So next we have flexible as the willow. So being flexible like the willow. So the willow moves gracefully in the wind. It's adaptable. The willow is flexible. It bends and it doesn't break. So for our mind, we want the mind to be able to flow around problems. We want the mind to be adaptable and fluid. For the body, sorry, the dog's distracted me again. For the body, we want it to be flexible, we want it to be mobile, we want it to be strong, so that it doesn't break. Again, we don't want our mind to break, we don't want our body to break. And the way we do that is being like the willow, which bends in the breeze. It flows around problems. It's flexible. And so next we have as calm as the forest. Now I have had it said that the forest isn't calm, and no, it isn't. On the surface it is, but there's a lot going on underneath. But it is slow, and the forest is slow. Trees grow slowly, the water going through the trees moves slowly. And for us, for the mind, we're like the forest, that we're unfazed by the bees and fast things moving around us, because we move at a slower pace. We aren't affected by them. We're calm, but we're always moving and flowing. We take on the flow of nature through the forest. For our body, we're grounded. And again, we're flowing with nature. We calm the nervous system. So, how do we get there? Well, I mean, one of the things we could do is you could have a dog and test yourself with a dog. We'll take your dog for a walk. You know, that's great, getting out in nature. It does teach us to get out in nature. So, but how we do it? So, one of the ways we do it is we do meditations. So the meditations, we will look at developing our senses. So if we develop our senses, then we bring ourselves into the present moment. If we use visualizations, we can use visualizations to power our mind, to manifest. We can use our visualizations to get what we want. So we can also develop an energy sensitivity. So developing our energy, I'm not talking about anything magical. I'm talking about, you know, understanding that in the world there is magnetism, there's electricity. Yeah, if we can build a sensitivity to that, and as you get out in nature and you start to touch things, use your senses, you'll become more aware and you'll become more sensitive to these kind of things. Hey, won't you will. Hey, you stinker. Yeah, we can learn to let go. Yeah, for our meditations. And we can learn to heal the body for our meditations, or help heal the body, put it into a healing mode rather than a destructive mode. And so that's really, you know, part of our meditations of the forest monk. So next we look at Tai Chi. So Tai Chi for me is again flowing like nature. Tai Chi is like a tree, it's grounded and yet it floats. We're learning to relax as we move. We're learning to open the joints, you know, and link the mind and breath and movements. He just got that, didn't he? Monkey. So again, Tai Chi is really important. And then we have our Shaolin and yoga exercises. So we use static flexibility and strength to build the muscles and tendons. We have the dynamic movements, which a lot of people miss, but they're really important. You see these a lot in the Chinese martial arts. Because we are dynamic, we move dynamically. We need our muscles to move dynamically. But we need to be careful with dynamic movements. My words are leaving me. My dynamic movements, because they can be dangerous. You know, if we start to move dynamically, that's when we can pull muscles. So we need to be careful with it and do it properly. And much like my instructor, when I met him, he was in his 60s. I've known him for the last 25 years. And he said to me when I met him, he said he's never pulled a muscle. But then he was doing this all the time. And these dynamic movements, they are really important and they're missed in a lot of flexibility exercises. So dynamics are really important. And then we have our nature connection. So again, we learn to appreciate the elements. Not just the sun, not just the ones we like, but appreciate them for what they are. Yeah, we appreciate nature. We appreciate animals for what they are, not just because if they don't do what we want them to. Like this one here, won't do what I want him to at the moment. I'd love him to be sitting still and behaving, but that's not his nature. He thinks for himself. We've got to appreciate nature and the animals and the world we live in because we're part of it. We need to become sensitive to how nature feels to us. And that increases our connection to it. We can use visualizations so that we understand nature better. And if we can't get into nature, we can use those visualizations, which can power us up in the same way. We can use tree meditations and meditations into stone, into water. And so we can use nature as our basis for our meditations and become more linked to it by doing that. Yes. Look at the camera. Look. But no one can see you because you're a little black doggy, aren't you? Yeah. So that's what we look at when we're talking about the forest monk. These are the things we're looking at. We're looking at being calm, being strong, and being free, ultimately, but using our bodies and our minds and nature to do that. Okay, there you go. That's what the forest monk is. Oh, you're such a pest. No biting. What do we do? There's a good boy.